I was just going to say that we have a play to talk about tonight that has no stars, that's been running since it opened, and it's not one of my favorites.
We actually have two. Memphis.
Well, I was thinking of Memphis in particular, without any stars, that has been running since it opened. To mediocre reviews, and seems to be doing very well for itself. And I don't quite understand that myself. I mean, it wasn't one of my favorite plays of the season.
It wasn't mine either. But we're going to let everybody here decide, because we have a few scenes from Memphis.
Okay, let them take a look at that.
So let's take a quick look at that.
Okay.
Good night and hock-a-doo.
Now, Memphis takes place, not surprisingly, in Memphis back in the 50s. And it's about this DJ who's white, discovers black music, broadcasts it over the radio, falls in love with a black singer, kisses her on national television, and basically self-destructs. And, you know, this is a nicely staged play. It's got some good performers, but it is very predictable. I mean, at any point in the play, did you not think that this guy was going to crash and burn?
Well, it's interesting. You know, you first of all, the guy is an amalgam of several DJs from the time period, because there were several real DJs who were doing this kind of stuff. And I know that there's a musical coming up that we're going to talk about later when it gets here, which is about the same time period and some of the same stuff. And it's so intriguing to me, because the whole big thing about the blues and this whole time period and black music is that white people kept ripping the black artists off all the time. So that Elvis, as great as he was singing what they call race music, and Elvis was singing some black guy's music who wasn't getting a penny for the stuff, and Elvis was making a fortune and becoming famous on it. So this is not that different in a sense. The DJ is the one who's out front doing very well for himself. The artists are not necessarily getting.
But actually in this play, the DJ doesn't end up so well, and the artist does.
Yes, but that's
so maybe there's some poetic justice.
The poetic license, if not justice, right?
And many people about Michael Jackson say he did just the reverse.
Yeah, we see the artist in this, the original music. This is all faux blues. There's not one real blues song.
It's an original score. Then.
It's an original score
by
a guy from Bon Jovi. I didn't mean to hog the program,
okay.
But the guy's name is. And now I'm having a problem not being able to read this.
It's interesting. You have the trend on Broadway.
David Bryan is the guy's name.
Is that a lot of the musicals are being written by former rock stars or people who have their roots. Elton John is the busiest Broadway composer these days. Would you have ever thought of that in the 1970s after hearing Crocodile Rock or Yellow Brick Road? Someone had said, yes, Elton John is going to be the big Broadway composer. And okay, and what are you smoking?
But the thing is, I mean, it is interesting, because you got these two very attractive people on the cover, neither of whose names I happen to know unless I look at the program.
You're allowed.
I'm allowed. And Chad Kimball is the guy, and he's playing
the DJ.
The DJ, and Montego Clover, which is a fantastic name, Montego Glover, it's a G, not a C, is the girl. And they're very gifted, very talented performers.
And basically the plot is he's this really strange young man who walks into a black nightclub and ultimately becomes very famous. And
Well, he
very
falls in love
popular.
with the music.
He falls in love with
And the
music,
girl.
but he brings it to the public, into the general public, and they respond to it. But then, like for example, he's given an offer to go to New York, and he doesn't want to leave Memphis. Now you're thinking, a major part of the plot here is that he's in love with this black woman.
Right.
Why? What is it about Memphis that is keeping him there when he has a greater career opportunity and a chance for more acceptance? You know, even though New York, no one really accepted interracial marriage 50
Right.
years ago, but certainly New York would have been more tolerable of it than Memphis. So, but he doesn't want to leave Memphis, and that's a major part of the plot.
Well, you know, there are people who don't want to leave home. I mean, the problem is that the plot was so weak to start with,
And predictable.
and predictable. Weak and predictable, two things we don't care for that much.
Right. But I will say, even though the score, again, it doesn't use the authentic blues score, which is fine. I'll take an original Broadway score any day. I'm happy to have that. It's got some good numbers. It basically, the dancing and the music and the orchestrations, really they can turn up the heat. I don't call it a very memorable score, but it is one that really you do admire the staging and the spectacle of it all.
But you know, if ever there was a time when I wanted a jukebox musical, this would have been it. Because I would have so much preferred the original music, the real stuff. I would have loved it to hear some, you know, just Jerry Lee Lewis kind of stuff, or who's a white musician. But I'm trying to think of some of the black guys who were down there doing this stuff at the time. Muddy Waters. I mean, that would have been so great to hear on in this show, rather than the fake stuff. I don't know if it was because they couldn't get the rights, or it would have been too expensive to get the rights. I can't imagine it's more expensive to get the rights.
Or maybe they just wanted to do an original musical.
I guess they wanted to
you
do
know
an
what? We
original
don't.
musical.
You know, that's the problem. When they do the jukebox musicals, we complain that there's nothing original.
Well, you're right.
And now there's
You're
something
right.
original, and here we
But-
are complaining.
Well,
it's
we'll
not
have
authentic.
our choice of
I mean,
that,
would you have
because
gone to Richard Rogers and Hammerstein and said, well, you know, that musical you did in Siam, couldn't you have used Siamese music for it?
Well, you know, the